Hi, I'm Sean Reimer, and on January 20th, I wanted to kill myself. That's a good way to start a video, yeah? Okay, I don't know. So I'm planning on uploading this video on Bell Let's Talk. For those who don't know, I'm pretty sure it's a Canada-only thing. It might be something that's all over the world. But it's a day in which it's pretty much what it sounds like. We talk about mental illness and raise awareness for it. And I've been really silent about my mental illnesses because I never found a way to express them. And this year, I figured I'd have to do something because it's gotten out of hand at this point for me. I'm gonna take you way back to the start of my life. So when I was 2.5, 3, something like that, I was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, which stands for Pervasive Developmental Disorder, not otherwise specified, I believe. In short, I had a form of autism in which some symptoms were severe and then others weren't existent. So they didn't know how to properly diagnose me. So that's where they put me. From age 3 to age 5, I would come home from a special needs preschool. I'd go down to my basement and I'd partake in a therapy to help me behave like a normal human being, typical autism child therapy, I guess. The company who did it no longer exists, so I can't confirm anything. In a way, that therapy was helpful for me because it, obviously helped me behave like a normal human being. But at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I thought every child went through stuff like this, and it traumatized me. It really did. And it set something in my mind where I'd always have to look for validation in other people instead of myself. Because, the only way I felt like I was making any kind of progress is when those people said I was making progress. When those therapists said I was doing a good job. So after that, they took me out of that program early because my parents wanted me to start elementary, and in no way do I blame my parents for things that happened. Autism was a fairly new thing at the time, and resources were still fairly scarce, and they were trying to scam my parents. It's one big thing, so I don't blame them. They took the steps that they want to take to make me feel better, or to make me better. I struggled a lot in elementary school, not so much with academics, but with socialization a lot of the time. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't even talk until I was 4 years old. And now you can't shut me up, so that's fun. Sorry, it's a trip down memory lane. So I struggled a lot in that department. I'd frequently have tantrums. My hearing is very sensitive, so whenever there was a fire drill, those were the worst days because the damn fire alarm. Eventually, I learned of my diagnosis, and I took some personal steps to try and function myself and to become self-aware of certain tics I had. That's when my parents got divorced, and it drastically affected me. That's when I started to get depression. Like, that's when I very vividly remember that I became depressed, and that's the first sense that I became cynical. My mom, she found a boyfriend from Mexico, came over here, and he was abusive. He was abusive verbally towards her, and in some sense physically, not sexually though, thank God. Physically and verbally abusive to my sister. I remember one day he dragged her up the stairs with her head on the carpet, so it was bouncing all the way up the stairs. The only person he seemed to really like was me. So one night there was a huge fight, lots of shouting, and I got sent home that night to my dad's place so my mom could figure stuff out. Eventually they broke up. It was very ugly, and he ended up, I think, taking some stuff of hers that she never got back. So that was another thing. I was constantly looking for his validation that I never took time to really care for myself and to care for my mom, for sure. And I feel a lot of guilt for that. Eventually, though, in junior high, I found theater, and I found acting, and I found that there was a lot of people very similar to me in that I hated myself, but with acting, I could become any character that I wanted to be. I could become a psycho killer that was stabbing people's eyes out so she could look for a cuckoo bird. I could be, I could become a secret agent infiltrating a girl's slumber party in a high school. That was a fun play. I could be Batman and Sherlock and anything I wanted. I could write my own stuff. I could write my own characters, and I could get a camera and I could do this and, you know, take a break from being me for a while. But deep down, and it's a thing many actors go through, and it's something that's going to be ingrained into me. Actors constantly look for a validation of an audience. So you can see why this job was pretty ideal for my situation. So I decided to pursue that. I went to Vancouver to an acting school, and I almost didn't survive out there. It was bad, and number one reason is because I didn't take care of myself mentally. I didn't take care of myself physically either. I was eating a lot. That's when I got really big into drinking to try and cope with my feelings, because every memory in an acting school keeps getting brought up, so you can experiment with different parallels. Things like that. And so every day I was going home with scabs that were peeled off, like mentally, and memories that I wouldn't let heal, and I couldn't come back into that. So I left Vancouver. I ruined quite a few relationships I had there. If anyone from my school in Vancouver is watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my class, Holden, for, I feel like I let you guys down a lot. I'm sorry to my former roommate, Andrew. I'm sorry to all my instructors who put a lot of time into making my acting better. So considering I was looking for validation of other people, I came back home to my girlfriend. She's probably watching this right now. My ex now, which is weird to say because we're still good friends. It's just a lot of things happened in our relationship to flounder that, or founder, or whatever the word is. My dad, a week after I got back, decided to move, to make himself happier, to make his fiance happier, and move to Strathmore. And so I lost my childhood house, and I didn't talk to him for a long time after that. We've reestablished contact now, but that's because recently I was in the hospital. And it started with my ex telling me she no longer had strong feelings for me. And I felt like all of the back stuff, the autism therapy, the divorce, my mom's abusive boyfriend, the acting school, Vancouver, and all the insecurities I have about my future just collapsed. So January 20th, I went to work. I'm a sales clerk at a Value Village or Savers or whatever you call it. It was a long shift. It was a sales day. And on my, I was cleaning the bathroom. And I looked in the mirror and I'm just like, I could kill myself right now. I have a box cutter. I could slit my wrists in the fucking bathroom. And it would be, you know, it was the only thing that gave me comfort. Once you've hit the point with suicide where you're not scared of it anymore, that's where you have to get help. So I reached out to my dad. He took me to the hospital. We sat there for like 5 hours only for a counselor to come in saying, you know, I can admit you, or and like work on coping solutions, or you can go home. And it sent me into an out of my mind panic attack. And I've never had it before. Like I said things to him I don't remember. It was an out of body experience. And that's, you know, that's when I knew I was sick. I was really, really sick. It's hard. It's, you know, I want to be the strong person, but it just finally cracked. Eventually I found a walk-in therapist. They threatened to call the cops if I did something, so I'm not seeing them anymore. So I've decided to take upon finding myself and trying to find ways to love myself. I'm on antidepressants right now, a trial run. I can actually get them. So this is what I'm on, 30 milligrams. I'm still working on taking the full 30. They diagnosed me this much because of the thoughts I was having. And probably the panic attack too. More importantly, I've decided to, again, find ways to love myself. I plan on auditioning for a theater in Calgary Storybook Theater, because I need to find the love in that again. And I broke up with my girlfriend. Which, it's a very hard thing, because she was my emotional support for 2 years. I wrote an entire screenplay dedicated to her for my class. She was so useful to me because she got me out of the house and out of my bubble and properly introduced me to the outside world, which I'd been scared of for so long. Now, though, I want to break free. So, if you're watching this, I'll always love you in some way or another. I just gotta love myself right now. And some of you might be feeling the same way. And I want to be of some kind of assistance to you. I want to help you like I'm helping myself. So, probably put it right here. There's my phone number. I don't care about roaming or anything like that. I can pay that off. If you need to talk to me, to anyone, call that, text it, do something. Comment on this video. Do whatever you need to do, okay? I'm here, and we're gonna get through this together. Because we need to talk about this. This is the only way this is gonna get better. And this is the only way I'm gonna get better.